welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
My name is Wes Coons, and welcome back to the show. It has been a great season so far, and I just got back from Florida yesterday, and my little girl Sydney got engaged. I am so excited. Her and Abraham, I tease him and call him Abraham, father of many nations. He ignores me a little bit, but he's a great guy. We went down to Florida. My dad, my sister, and I were there as a surprise and got to watch her get engaged. It was really cool. I am so grateful for that. And Sydney, if you ever listen to the show, I want grandbabies. Remember that. I'm excited. I'll let you know when the babies are coming and when the wedding is. It's going to be fun. We've had a ton of new listeners. I mean, a ton of new listeners. I had a new listener reach out recently, Samantha. She is in Spain. She's super cool. She's a psychic medium, and she's going to come on the show. That's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. We've got lots of guests already signed up and ready to come. But this week, I needed to do it by myself. If you listen to the episode where my brother died, I got to be honest, man, I've been struggling with that at such a deep level. On May 1st, we're supposed to spread his ashes. And I'm struggling with that. I'm just really struggling with that. I thought that this healer is going to step up and we're going to help the family heal and rejoin and reconnect everybody. And none of that happened. Nobody wanted to hear my words. Nobody wanted to reconnect. And that's bothered me. Maybe we weren't supposed to. I don't know. But I talk about this stuff and I do this healing work, and I'm like, why haven't I been able to fix the family? And so we're going on May 1st, somewhere up in the Charlottesville area, and there's going to be a bunch of people there that I don't know. I don't think anybody in my family's going. I'm going. And I get to hear people talk about this stranger that was my brother because we didn't have a relationship. Dennis came and hung out about an hour a year with the family, and that's what he wanted. But I love my brother. I love my brother. And it's weird not having him here. So, at the end of the day, this podcast, when we did it, I decided if I do it, I'm going to be real. I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell where I'm at. And I've been struggling. I am looking forward to this day to be over. That's why this podcast didn't come out on Saturday. I didn't have it in me to record because I knew I had to talk about Dennis, and I didn't want to. It was cool being down in Florida. My mom came in. Sometimes she comes in like a freight train, right? We're sitting there eating pizza with Sydney. We're all at dinner, and all of a sudden, boom, she's there, and she's talking to me, and I'm hearing stuff. And my daughter's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, oh, your nanny's here. She's like, you're being weird. So that was cool. I know mom was there when she got engaged. I like being able to have those conversations. I don't have a lot of those with Dennis right now. I'll hear him if I speak directly to him, or if I play a certain America album. I think the song is Horse with No Name. That's Dennis's song. That's a song that I remember he liked, and I'll feel his energy come in. So I play that 2 or 3 times a day just to feel close to him. But the cool thing is, we just broke 4,100 downloads on the podcast, and I don't even know how many countries we're in. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for reaching out and asking questions. Somebody asked me, they said, Wes, what exactly do you do? So this is exactly what I do. I am a Reiki master quantum healing expert. And basically what I do is I connect with people in person or through Zoom, and I remove the energies that no longer serve them. That's an easy way to explain it. Jesus flows through me to heal me, and together we heal the world. So when I was down in Florida this last week, Sydney says, "Can you work on Abraham and myself?" I'm like, "Sure." And Abraham's such a sweet guy. He's like, "I don't know what you're doing, but okay." He kind of goes with the flow with Sydney. And so we're doing this healing work, and he gets up. He's like, "How's my headache gone? How's that pain in my foot gone?" I'm like, "That's just how it works, brother. That's what we do." So I clear pain from people. I remove energetic blocks. We do a lot more. So if you're interested in that, you could always reach out. You can find me online at VBHealer, as in VirginiaBeachHealer.com. Find me on Instagram, VBHealer, and send me a message. We'll talk about it. It's going to be fun. So here soon, we're having a psychic fair in Virginia Beach. So some of y'all are going to come to that. Some of you are not, but it's going to be super cool. My friend Dawn is putting that on. And we're doing a fundraiser for my friend Betsy. We're going to help her little boy Carson. We're going to raise some money for him to get braces. We helped him get a service dog a few years ago. Trying to do some community work, do some service work, help friends and family, and get this one program off the ground here soon. I don't know, maybe later this year. God's Kitchen. So I've got godskitchen.org. And what we want to do is create this commercial kitchen where we then shuttle food to different churches in the community and help feed our community. Because 1 out of 10 families in Hampton Roads doesn't know where their next meal is coming from. And I got to be honest, that doesn't make sense to me. In 2025, somebody looking for a meal is mind-boggling. So we're going to work on that. We're not going to try. We're going to fix that problem in this community and try to make a difference. So if you know me personally, I've been struggling with health issues for a long time. Being a combat Marine in the first Gulf War, one of the things they gave us a title for, or there was a medical diagnosis, which isn't really a medical diagnosis, is unexplained illnesses. So I get sick a lot, right? I've already missed like 35% of this year being sick. Couldn't figure it out. So I went and met with this new doctor, and she said, "I want you to do a parasite cleanse." So I've heard about those. I've heard people talk about those. My primary care doctor did a little scan. She said, "Yeah, we did a test. You're clear." But the reality is I ordered this over-the-counter medication from Cellcore, 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 and did this parasite cleanse. I got to be honest, everything is changing for me. Clearly, I had stuff going on. And when I was talking to this doctor, she said, it's not if you have parasites, it's how many do you have? I did my first cleanse on the last full moon, the blood moon. And the full moon coming up in a couple weeks, I'm going to do it again. I guess you do the cleanse on the full moon because that's when stuff's active in your body. So I am feeling better. My inflammation is down. I'm not grinding my teeth. I'm not craving sweets. The pain in my body is significantly less. I even stopped chewing my fingernails. Isn't that the craziest thing? I hated that I did that, but I just never really paid attention, and it was a habit. But since the cleanse, all these things have shifted. So my public service announcement is, if you haven't done a parasite cleanse, just because we live in the United States of America does not mean that you can't have that. If you have dogs, cats, fish, been in the ocean, been in a lake, walked barefooted, and I've seen some of the people y'all have dated, you might need a parasite cleanse, just saying. If you have questions on that, reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer. At the end of the day, I just want everybody to feel better. And I am starting to feel fantastic. The funny thing is, I can do this healing work, but I'm sick. I'm like, how does that work? And, if you have a third party that's causing problems for you, that makes a lot of sense to me. I will let you know how that goes as time goes by. Seriously, if you haven't done one, I think you should seriously consider it. Your health is important. We talk about mental health on here all the time. We're starting to talk about physical health. I just ordered this reverse osmosis system, this water thing Fawn was telling me about. She was on the show a couple months ago, or maybe a month and a half ago, something like that. If you haven't listened to her episode, it's fantastic. And here, taste this water. And when I drank it, I'm like, this water tastes amazing. I'm trying to do something different. I'll be 56 this year. I know I'm going to live a long time. My dad's 92. And that dude, man, Dad plays golf 115 times a year. He'll beat your ass. He'll take your money. He'll joke you. He'll probably outdrink you. And I wouldn't want to piss him off because he might grab you. So the old man is rolling. And I talked to him this weekend. And he said, yeah, I played my 527th time that I've shot golf and shot my age or less. I don't know much about golf, but that sounds pretty impressive to me. So Pop, good on you for doing that. One of the questions that I received from somebody was, Wes, what keeps you going? I've listened to your podcast. Here's some crazy stuff that you've gone through. How do you do it? Because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfectly healed. I struggle just like everybody else. I just struggle at a different level these days. And I told him, I said, brother, you know what? Prayer gets me through. When I am festering over a past relationship or some trauma or whatever, getting out of my head can be difficult. So the first thing I do is get out of my energy. If I'm sitting on the sofa, I am not going to sit there and worry about this bullshit relationship that wasn't serving me. I'm going to get up and move. And quite frankly, I say, Spirit has this, Spirit has me. Spirit has this, Spirit has me. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of times a day. I can't be sad and broken when I'm praying. I can't be sad and broken when I'm moving my feet. And let's be honest, we talk about the beauty and the pain on this show all the time. I say there's a version of you that we haven't met yet, and together we're going to find that person. We're not going to find that person doing the same stuff over and over. We have got to look for the blessings that are in front of us, even when it hurts. And I got to be honest, I don't know what the blessing is for my brother dying at the age of 62. I don't know what those blessings are. I went down to Florida this weekend. I got to see my son for the second time in 13 years, and he doesn't want to look me in the eye. And I'm like, what is going on? Why can't we communicate? Why can't we be friends? But you know what? That's his deal, not mine. Somebody suggested that maybe it's his lesson and not mine, even though it affects me. So I keep putting prayers to that. I asked God today, I said, hey, I don't know what this journey is without having Taylor in my life every day, but can you send him protection? Can you send him my love? Can you bring him back? So I don't know what that's going to look like. But I'm not going to be bitter. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to piss and moan about it. It is what it is. I got to talk to my kid for 30 or 40 minutes, and he hugged me, told me he loved me, and I'll probably see him at Sydney's wedding, and that's about it. Those are his choices. They're definitely not mine. Yeah, I found it interesting. The last 2 weeks, the podcast has grown significantly, right? But at the same time, in the last 2 weeks, I've done more prayers. I've asked God to take the wheel. I have asked Him to deliver the message that we're trying to deliver to the people that need to hear it. We've got a ton of people in Spain listening. France is going off the rails. I think we've had like 87 episodes listened to in the last week and a half in France. So, France, thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys being on the show. And I'm just excited. We were talking the other day. I said, I'm excited somebody actually wants to hear me talk. My brother Dennis, he used to say all the time, shut the fuck up. And when we were little, he'd beat me up if I was talking. I don't want to go back and get beat up anymore, but those are fond memories. Dennis, I know you hear me. I just want to tell you I love you, brother. And this has been hard. But I was listening to Joel Osteen the other day. I love listening to him. And there was an episode that said that God sees everything, every injustice that has ever happened to you. And He is going to pay you back with something that you've never even earned. That you're going to receive this blessing that is bigger than anything you could ever imagine. And I remember when I heard that, I said, I like that. And I stopped right there and I said, God, this is Wesley, the one you love. Because Joel said, you should pray like that. Say, this is Andrea, the one you love. Because He knows who we are. And when I say those words, I hear His voice in my head. I said, I would really like that blessing, please. See, I don't say anymore, if it is your will, I will receive it. It is His will. All you have to do is ask. Our word is so powerful. Lakota says, one prayer is more powerful than a nuclear bomb, and she's right. Because I can do prayers and it's felt around the world and a bomb is felt in a single area. I can change the vibration of the world by doing my prayers, changing my vibration, healing me, and growing and becoming who I came here to be. I've got this co-working space that I own in Virginia Beach. Kempsville Executive Center. If you don't know what a co-working space is, it's private offices that you can rent. There's other places around town and your community too that are there. But it wasn't really selling out, and I didn't understand it. When I really looked at it, there was some anger that I carried towards my dad because that was his building. I am currently purchasing that building. And I was frustrated with him. So I really took some time and I let that go. And it's interesting how this works. Within 10 minutes of me letting that energy go, during that 10 minutes, I sent my dad a text and I told him what I thought about him. I was crystal clear. I said, Daddy, you always sacrificed for us. And I want you to know that we all see that and we appreciate it. That you've always treated us as equals. And when you were angry with us, you had the conversation. And when we were done, you treated us the same. That you've always been there when we needed you. And I want you to know that we see it. We appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I love you. Thank you for the sacrifices that you made for me to have the life that I have. That's what I told my dad. You know what? He didn't text me back. So The whole day goes by. I'm like, all right, I know you got it. And then he calls and he said, son, I didn't want to text. I wanted to call. In my mind, I'm like, you could have said thanks and called later, but that's my ego. That's my expectation. And if you have a 38-second conversation with dad, that's a long conversation. And I am not exaggerating on the time period, okay? We always time it so we can tell my sisters. I'll call Barb and say, hey, I had a 39-second conversation with dad today. When I had heart surgery, I got a thumbs up and good luck text. He called me and we talked for like 9 minutes. We've never had a 9-minute conversation. So tell me that our word is not powerful. I released my anger. I set my frustrations aside because dad is not going to talk to me the way I want to be talked to. He's not going to talk to me the way I want to be spoken to. He's not going to come over and say, son, gosh, I'm so proud of you. You're such an amazing blah, blah, blah. He's not doing that. So my expectations of what I want from him either is going to put me in a position of anger and frustration and victim energy like it has for decades, or I can let that go and say, you know what? Daddy's 92 years old, and I know he loves me. And hell, when I went down to Florida this time, right when I seen him, he was kind of a dick. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to the bathroom now. I did some prayers, cleared my energy and came out and sat down. And everything changed. I changed my energy. I released the pain and anger that I carried in my body. The expectations that I carried to Florida was vibrating off of me, and dad reacted. So I healed that in me, and the rest of the time we had the most wonderful conversation. So tell me your word's not powerful. Tell me things aren't going great for you. That's because your energy and your vibration has set the tone. Within 10 minutes of me letting that go, sending that text message that, a day went by before I got anything, I got my first call and then my second call. And within 2 hours, I had 5 people call and I rented 2 spaces that day. It's because my energy that I carried was blocking people coming to me. Now, somebody may say, well, that could have happened anyways. Maybe. Why didn't it happen sooner? Our word is powerful. So when my son and my ex-wife show up at the event for Sydney getting engaged, neither one of them looked at me. Neither one of them would pay attention to me. I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't want to be hanging out with my ex-wife all day, but at the end of the day, she's the mother of my children. I want her to be healthy. I want her to be loved. I want her to have everything in life that she can have. Why would I not want that for her? And they show up and they don't look at me. And then after a few minutes, she has to look, and I'm like, hey, how are you? I was like, wow, you look really fantastic. I'm so glad you're here. Can you believe our baby's getting engaged? I kept an open heart. And then when my son wouldn't look at me, I wanted to go to the bathroom and cry. I haven't had a relationship in 13 years. All I did was divorce his mom. Previous to that, we were thick as thieves. It doesn't make sense to me, but at the end of the day, that is where we're at. No matter how many times I've reached out, no matter how many times I've tried. So I thought to myself, stop it. I closed my eyes. I took a deep breath. I let the energy out. And I just enjoyed myself. And you know what? Within a few minutes, he starts talking to me. His mom starts talking to me. She even paid me compliments on my barbecue. I could cook some barbecue. It ain't going to taste like horse meat, I can tell you that. But she and I ran a professional competition barbecue team back in the day. I told her when we competed, we separated and I was still competing. And I let her know, I said, I never cooked as well as I had when you were on the team with me. She just looked at me. She said, thank you. That means a lot. I said, you're welcome. Because it's the truth. We did better together at cooking. But the reality is, we had stayed past the expiration date of our relationship. So, is your word important? Are your thoughts important? I practiced the principles that I've learned. I practiced the principles that we teach. And I got to be honest, man, it changes things. It took me a second to get there, but it changes things. Now, my daughter, Sydney, called me about 6-8 months ago. And she said, Daddy, I want to get married, but I don't want to have the marriage that you and Mommy had. And that broke my heart to hear. I thought about that. And at the time I told her, I said, honey, you've already got a relationship that Mommy and I didn't have when we were married. You're beyond that. And the more I thought about this, and I told Abraham this when I seen him this weekend, I said, Sydney had shared this with me. This is what she said, and his kind of eyes get a little big. And I said, I really thought about that. And I said, Abraham, the difference between you and Sydney being married and Tina and I getting married when I was your age, you're a better man than me. It's what it is. You've got a beautiful relationship with my daughter. You treat her well. I mean, I didn't even feel it necessary to threaten to beat his ass if he ever touched her. And if you know me on a personal level, that's probably a conversation I might have with somebody who's dating my daughter. I don't need that because that's not who he is. But I let him know, I said, you're apples to apples, same age, you're a better man than me. And I appreciate the way you treat my daughter, how you watch your words with her, how when she or you guys get in conflict, which happens, you watch what you say because our words are powerful. You can say something that will stick there for decades, lifetimes. So needless to say, this was a beautiful weekend. I got to tell you this. My poor sister. We come out of the museum. They got engaged in the museum, right? And it had rained, and this little 5-foot-long electric car comes hauling ass down the street, swerves on purpose, hits this giant puddle of water, and my sister Barb's, she's covered from head to toe. Abraham's mom, I don't know who else in the party got soaked, but luckily I'm holy and spiritual and I was protected. They got soaking wet. They had to take their shoes off to get the water out. So it was funny. I tried not to laugh, but I just thought you needed to hear that story. It was great. But we got lots of cool things going on. I believe I think Brittany's coming in Friday. We're going to do a special episode she's going to help me with. And we got lots of cool things coming. Lakota's going to be here the weekend of April 11th. If you're local, you want to participate, you can. If you want a reading from her and you're in France, we can set that up through Zoom. It's really cool. She does beautiful work. And again, I just wanted to say thank you. So don't forget, you are beautiful, you are gifted, you are loved. Every step you take raises your vibration. Every breath you take heals your body. Jesus flows through us to heal us, and together we heal the world. Those are good affirmations to remember. You're one vibrational shift away from becoming the person that you desire to be. Change your mindset, change your world. Get up off the sofa, move your body. And I tell you what, if you're struggling with keeping positive thoughts like me, I've struggled my whole life with that. I started cold plunging. Joe Rogan talks about that all the time. I'm like, man, I don't know. So this fall, I was still struggling. If you remember, I got that concussion last June. That concussion really screwed me up. So I'd wake up in the morning and just roll over and grab my pillow and cry for 3 hours and not even know why I'm crying. So that was a side effect of that concussion. I remember just laying there sobbing, and I asked God, take this from me. Take this from me. And I heard the words, I will. Then all of a sudden, it popped in my head, I needed to jump in the swimming pool and do a cold plunge. And I tell you what, I did that. And 3 minutes later, because you only need to be in it for like 3 minutes, dude, it changed everything. I felt great. So I started coming home from work and cold plunging in the afternoon, cold plunge when I got home. It was a little chilly in February. But it makes a difference. It shifts something in my brain. So what are you doing different? What are you going to do different? Isn't it about time? I mean, it's about time, right? A friend of mine says, I've got anxiety. Yeah, okay. Well, get up, get off the sofa, go walk around the block 18 times, see if you're still depressed after that. Just a thought. Go cold plunge. Take a parasite cleanse. Pray. Get up. Get off the sofa. Pray. So thank you for listening to the show, and I will see you in about a week.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.